What is up, y'all? We're here for our weekly manifestation oracle reading. We're just going to take a look at the week ahead and see what would best behoove us as it pertains to going after our goals and our manifestations. So first we have make a decision. That flipped out very decisively. Feeling stuck or indecisive, listen to your intuition and make a decision. You know, it's funny, on the way home from work tonight, I was anticipating the reading that we were going to have for weekly manifestation oracle reading. And for some reason, I had a hunch that father healing would come up. And I was immediately reminded of when it came up a few weeks ago, and it was in association with the Knight of Wands. And I was thinking again how the father wound that we had growing up maybe resulted in a pattern that caused us to have like something about like a subconscious defense mechanism or an inner conflicting desire that causes a non-committal like tendency. And that can be shiny object syndrome. Like if you always have too many projects going on and you never know which one to put your energy and focus into. Or if you have a hard time getting into like a committed relationship and you're always like, you're like losing interest in like going to the next person or like finding something wrong with this person and, the next person, something's wrong with them. So I think that the father wound, that maybe, a lot of our deep healing has been coming up over the past few weeks. It's been like mother, father, inner child shadow, boom, 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 back to back, around and around again. And so if you find yourself feeling a little bit like indecisive or your energy and focus is scattered, just know that, we've been doing a lot of healing work. And so that is kind of cyclical. And so every time it comes up, it's like you're reinforcing your new thought process, your new perspective. Every time you witness that tendency come up, you can be like, you know what? I am being I'm being just easily distracted right now, and I'm feeling like a little bit non-committal, or I've got shiny object syndrome. And this is really just coming from a subconscious pattern implanted from long ago, and it doesn't really serve me anymore. And now that I recognize it, I don't have to really do this. I don't have to follow this impulse. So clearly deciding what you want. Sometimes we don't feel that we deserve what we want. Sometimes we're conflicted on whether or not it's the right thing, and we're afraid to make a mistake. We're afraid to go in the wrong direction. And a lot of times the real spiritual lesson in life is just having the conviction to make a decision and then own it. Take responsibility for it. Whether it flops or it's a success, it doesn't matter. It's just another decision. We're just trying it. This is a learning experience. And so we'll see what the results are, and then we'll make tweaks, and then we'll go from there, right? So don't overthink something and feel like indecision and analysis paralysis just because you're afraid to make a mistake. Because what if there wasn't a mistake? What if every path was going to lead you back to the same central path anyway, right? So just think of it that way. Try to take the pressure off of yourself. But just know that a lot of times, if you're, up in your head and you are spinning through the cycles of illusion and fantasy, and you're staying in the idea realm and you're not taking a decisive action, then all of that can start to perpetuate and just keep you going in circles and spinning your wheels. So making a decision, getting clarity so that you can go forward, and it's like the more you can clearly articulate something in your, like the more something is fleshed out in your mind and you can envision it, that's like the first stage of manifestation. It's like like the first stage is like, like an inspiration and sort of a spark of an idea. But then as you flesh it out and it condenses and it crystallizes in your mind, it starts to become physical. It starts to become, real. And then you can articulate it, right? If when you have an idea in your mind and you can't quite articulate it, it's like when you have a dream and you're trying to explain the dream and you can't find the words and you can't find the way to describe something to make it make sense because it doesn't. So just getting the more and more clear you can get on your goals and what you want from the universe, then your subconscious can be clear about the direction that it's pointing you in, right? It's hard to know what to do even ourselves if we can't verbalize or get a clear idea of what we want. And other people can't help us if we can't articulate what we want, because then we can't express what we need or, tell people, or maybe get advice or direction or, ask for what we want until we know how to verbalize it. So getting clear on what it is that we want and moving past indecision, because it's the indecision that's keeping us in a stalemate. Listen to your intuition and make that decision. Have faith. Your prayers are manifesting. Remain positive and follow your guidance. So this calls to mind when I did the 2023 monthly predictions playlist. I remember getting all the way to about October, which is now, and I remember talking about how we've been in creation phase 3 like all year long. And it feels like nothing is ever going to happen. It feels like we're always just going to be stuck in a plateau. And then suddenly, like, the wheels of change would start turning and fortune would shift. And so lo and behold, I didn't really think about it then when I was doing the month-to-month predictions back in January. But I realize now that we're coming up into eclipse season. Like at the end of this week, we have an eclipse and a new moon on the 14th, I believe, in Libra. And so this is sort of like this big destiny point, and it's about big shifts in energy, endings and beginnings. So yeah, have faith. The creation phase 3 is so the initial phase 1 is like getting that spark of an idea, but you have excitement about it, but you haven't really started making an effort yet. That's what's called a passive desire. Creation phase 2 is when you have like you're more clear about what you want. And in creation phase 1, you can get stuck there if you're not clear about what you want, right? Unclear desire, passive desire. So in order to get into phase 2, where you can really put the work in and be excited and be in that honeymoon stage of the project, like that takes, getting clear on the desire and then just figuring out what you need to do and then going all in, guns blazing, like total enthusiasm, drive, vigor, intensity, passion, focus, determination. Burn in the midnight oil, that kind of thing. But then, like, after a while, it's like there's not a lot of results and you're exhausted, and you've even been doing like the spiritual work too behind the scenes. It's not that you've been taking action. You've been overcoming patterns. You've been facing tests. You've been doing all the things. You put yourself out there. You took the big risk. You said it all. You laid it all at the table. You went against all odds, whatever it is that like the big hero does at the end of Act 3 that like gets them the happy ending. It's like, I've done this. Where is my manifestation? And you feel like there's just this dead pause for like, I don't know, who knows how long, right? And so what's happening then is the universe is testing you. This is initiation period where it's testing your mettle. It's testing the vessel that you've built. Are you determined to stick by your guns and keep going no matter what, even if there aren't any results? Are you going to stick to what you want and not settle for less, or settle for something that's wrong? Are you going to hold to your self-worth and your trust and faith in the universe and then the creator? The idea is to have certainty in the creator that keeps us in a state of creator consciousness where we are cause consciousness, right? And not effect consciousness. instead of being affected by everything, it's like we're stable and we're consistent because we know, we have faith, things are going to work out in our highest good. And if they are not working out the way I want them to, then that's okay, because it's still going to work out for the greater betterment of my soul and to lead me towards my ultimate fulfillment. And I have a limited perception of, I don't have the big long view, right? So I can trust that whatever is happening, if I'm not getting what I want, then that's probably for my highest good, and that there's going to be something that's going to be more fulfilling, right? And things are not happening to me, but they're playing out for me in some way. And so continue to have faith. Don't give up. As long as you don't resign yourself to despair and throw in the towel and get super depressed, have a fleeting moment of but then be like, no, this is going to happen. I'm determined. I believe in this. And as long as you don't resign yourself to despair, no matter what, decisions, you can have a failure or a mistake or whatever, but that energy will be in a spiritual bank account. And as long as you don't give up, it will move over, rollover minutes into the next thing that is a success. It's all that effort that you put in, it will eventually pay off. And it might be something that happens where you're like, well, that was a stroke of luck. And, wow, I didn't have to put nearly as much effort into this thing, but it's not luck. It's because you put all of that investment in yourself into the ethers up there. And it's held there in the spiritual world. And so the effort that you put into something, the desire that you put into something can get transferred if something falls through or if you make a mistake or whatever, as long as you keep the faith that it can work out. Okay, that's the magic sauce. What else do we need to know for this week? For our manifestations, just moving along right into eclipse season. During eclipses, you don't really want to do rituals and manifestation or try to start anything new or push anything, because it's sitting in the middle of a hurricane and trying to go out and run errands. It's not good energy. It's energy of chaos and upheaval, and it's changing things and it's speeding things up and it's making things a little turbulent. So there could be good things coming to fruition and culmination for you. And it could be that progress is speeding up and all of a sudden you have a bunch of opportunities, but it could be things coming to an end or getting cleared away. And, that can be, kind of chaotic as well, but it will probably lead to something good that's going to come in and replace it for the better. So either way, it's kind of good to just lay as low as you can and not add to any of the energy that's already out there. The energy's already crazy. It's swirling and whirling. So basically, we're just trying to get through eclipse season in a state of surrender and trust that we are letting go. We're doing our best to let go of things that really aren't feeling aligned for us, or that don't offer us any value anymore, or we're letting go of those toxic cycles that we don't want to bring into this next 6-month growth period, right? We're also, we've also been focused on building our potential, right? And going toward, our goals and trying to align with our greater purpose. So, hopefully we're poised to sort of surf through this eclipse season with some grace. It's usually if you're not doing the work and you're less aware and less consciousness that you get batted about, to and fro, because in that way you would be in effect consciousness, right? You're not prepared. You haven't braced yourself. And so the general public, they're just like, wow, everything's crazy. I'm dying inside. Ugh. Can you imagine not having any context to what's happening? So usually it's those people that are most affected during eclipse season. And the people that are kind of ongoing doing the work anyway, it's you kind of are more prepared and it's not as jolting. So let yourself receive. So the next card is allow others to give you loving care. Receive without guilt or apologies. So the divine feminine energy is really coming forward to roll out the rest of the year and, probably be very strong and in balance, like leading us into 2024. But it's about being in a state of like active receiving. There was something that we used to do on set called actively standing by. And you're essentially passive. You're ready to receive instruction, but you're like poised. You're ready. You're in sort of like, like outfielders in baseball, like they're just like standing out there for a long time, but they have to be ready to like be in like game face. Like any minute they could have to like run over there, or jump up and down. So it's like being in a state of active passiveness. Toxic feminine is when you're like indecisive and you want everybody to do everything for you, and you're like a helpless waif, and you are wanting to be told what to think, and you're too accommodating. Lots of things added on to that. But divine feminine is the ability to chill until you have the divine guidance and the feeling of the sense of timing, and then you can follow your gut and act on it. That's divine feminine. Divine feminine is being open to receive, but not needy and like having to receive in order to survive. It's like you are receiving in a state of like, by the way, like, oh yeah, if you insist, like, sure, I'll receive. But you're not like, it doesn't make or break you, right? You're not reaching frantically or like pushing or like in any kind of energy of desperation to receive. It's like, think of a royal or a queen, or like someone with a lot of wealth and fame receiving like free designer things, and they're like, oh how nice of you. And it's like they don't need it, and they don't necessarily, like, they might have wanted it, but they're like, oh, okay, cool. And it's like, oh, I'm worth this. Of course they want me to have this because I am valuable and worthy, and there's value in them for them too. Like, I will be seen with this item or whatever, maybe. But like, think about that kind of receiving where they're like, oh no, I could have, well, if you insist, that kind of thing with the universe. It's like you deserve and you expect good things to happen to you, and you expect to be miracle mode. Just like, make yourself think like a celebrity. Like, isn't someone just waiting around to go get me a green juice? Like, where is my green juice? So yeah, be in a state of readiness to receive guidance from the universe. Be in a state of readiness to receive opportunities without feeling like urgency to respond to them immediately. Be in a state where you can get an opportunity, you can be calm about it, you can think about it, you can tune into your intuition, wait, and act when you know it's right and ready. So you're not rushed. So you're not controlled by like any kind of scarcity, like, oh, it's gonna be fleeting or whatever. Also, you wouldn't sleep on an opportunity either. There's going to be a balance, but letting yourself receive. Also, if people try to give you assistance or gifts or compliments, receive those with gratitude and grace and joy, because the more that you say yes to receiving from the universe, the more the universe will give you things. You're demonstrating that you're an open vessel, and the divine feminine is activated in you. If you are not receiving from the universe and you're like, no, I can't, no, don't help me, and people want to like make you happy, and like you're like, no, don't fuss, or like you're never really happy or satisfied, and you're a difficult person to help, and you won't take a compliment, you're super self-deprecating, it's very dissatisfying for the people around you. That's not a strong divine feminine state to be in. It's a toxic feminine state to be in, because you're almost playing into that damsel in distress energy, where it's like frantic and needy, and then it's like, but you can't receive too, so you're blocked off. So it's like all this toxic, the vessel is closed, like it's not, there's not worth to receive, not deservingness. So sorry, I feel like I'm talking in a stream of consciousness more than usual tonight. I've been working a lot and then doing a bunch of readings, which is great. I'm like really excited to be busy this time of year. But I'm buffering over here. Like my hard drive it's full. Okay. One more card for the week ahead for our manifestations. Ooh, accept heaven's help. Amazing. So the universe is wanting to send us things. So the more that we can easily receive the little things with grace and gratitude, then the universe can send you more things, because you'll receive. Also, as you receive, don't let it change you either way. It's like if you suddenly won the lottery or became famous for what you do and then turned into a total dick, right? Don't let things change you or affect you in that way. Be conscious of what changes you and what transforms you and what transmutes you and why. Like be conscious and on purpose about what you allow to transform you and transmute you. Try not to let it be because you got all the good things and that changed you in a way, or because you lost a bunch of things and that changed you as well. So, try not to let anything control you or have that kind of power over you, where like if it was lost, then you would be like, oh, I'm lost without that thing. Like you want to be the same with or without the thing. And when you're unaffected at that level, it's like that's when you're safe to really receive what you've been wanting and working for. Accept heaven's help. You've prayed for help, so get out of the way and let heaven help you. So again, have faith that what you want is coming to you. And in the meantime, like have a strong sense of worthiness and deserving, and start practicing receiving, and be like, express your gratitude to the universe and from the sources that you're receiving from, and be excited about it, have fun with it. And the universe will just keep wanting to send you more and more. And accept heaven's help, and not only just accept heaven's help, but actively be asking for it. Because we have free will, and heaven, spirit realm, has to honor that free will. And so they can't get involved unless we invite that assistance in. So say your prayers out loud. That's the most powerful way to manifest. Ask for heaven's help. And then as you are closing your prayer, under your breath, you say in a whisper, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vayed. You say that very quietly. What that does, it binds your prayer and protects it from the opponent intercepting it and trying to muck with your wish. Like Bedazzled. Remember the movie Bedazzled, where Elizabeth Berkley is hot Satan and she's fucking with Brendan Fraser, and she's like, you can have your wish. And every time he asks for this wish, there's always like something that he doesn't specify. And so they fuck up like his wish every time. So yeah, say your prayers out loud, and then say that Aramaic line, Baruch Shem Kavod Malhuto Leolam Vayed. Say it quietly so that the demons can't hear. And then amen. And that'll seal it. And it'll send it to heaven for your prayer request for help and assistance in all things and all you do, and for your protection. But mostly, so we can get out of our own way. It's great to just pray generally for guidance, for certainty, for wisdom, and for the courage and strength to embody the wisdom and follow up on our guidance. and protection, right, from our own confusion or our own agenda. All right, you guys, I hope you have a good week ahead. Let me know what kind of manifestations are coming through for you. I've had lots of little fun ones recently. I've been treated to some gifts and just some unexpected surprises. So yeah, awesome. Talk to y'all tomorrow.